All right, sorry about that. It cut off. But okay, I wanted to go back on some things that go over some things that I didn't really talk about in full detail. I told you I had my little post-it notes, but I was only on the first one, believe it or not, and I had 6 of them, and I thought I was going to talk about all of them on the way, but I guess it didn't happen that way. So, at the end, I was talking about if you knew how the system worked, then you would be able to make better choices. And there are only really 2 things that the soul interprets, and that's love and the lack of it. But we experience so many different things, and it all looks different. Everything looks different. And so people separate these things as if they are different, and they never make the connection. They never make the connection. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with that. You hear that all the time. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with this, and that doesn't have anything to do with that. It's the same thing. But yet, at the base of it, it's either what's taking place is loving or unloving. That is the basis of pain, is unloving things. And the basis of joy is of happiness and joy are loving things. So that is the basis of everything. So I wanted to go back to the brain a little bit because, and I think I misspoke. I think I misspoke in one of the earlier in the video. What are you doing? Oh gosh, people who drive in. Oh, this is too much right now. It's so busy. So I said the physical body. Okay, so I was talking about the brain. I was talking about the spirit body and the soul, and how the soul powers the spirit body and the spirit body powers the physical body. But the physical body and the physical body brain is being exercised by something behind it, and that thing that's behind it is the soul. And so the spirit body is also influenced by the soul. And remember, it's only half. It's not the whole. You are only half. You're only part of yourself. You're not yourself in its entirety. So your soul, you're only part of it. So you're missing the other half. And I also talked about how people think that the brain is where the thoughts and the ideas come from, where the personality comes from, where the free will comes from. They think it comes from the brain. And this is how we have been taught. This is how we as human beings have been taught when we go to school. It's the understanding of doctors. Even though they can't prove it, this is what they say. It could come from the brain. Somehow it comes from the brain. They don't know how it comes from the brain, but that's because that's their only explanation. They just don't know. One, because they can't look past the physical, so they'll never know. Unless you start getting into metaphysics, and so which is beyond the physical. So once you start looking beyond the physical, now you can start understanding it. Why? Because you are non-physical. The soul is non-physical. We are non-physical in nature, and that is where the engine is. That is the engine. That is a power that moves the vehicles. The vehicle being the spirit body, and the vehicle being the physical body. All right? We are the engine, people. We are the engine. But, oh wow, I've never seen a car like that. Metallic. Huh, interesting. Not metallic, it was like chrome, but in color. I don't know what you would call that. Shiny, guess, I don't know. Okay, so let's say someone, if this is, you know, their idea, their thought about where your ideas and things come from is the brain, then what happens when, because it's understood, I don't know how they came to this conclusion, but this is it's believed that certain parts of the brain control certain memories and things like that. But when someone has a stroke and part of the brain is damaged, it's like for a moment they can't remember anything, or they can't do they can't remember to do certain things, or they can't remember certain things because that area of the brain is damaged. But somehow later down the line, something happens and all that stuff comes back. But that part of the brain is still dead. And so they can't really explain why this is happening. So they start saying, well, the neurons, the neural pathways start rerouting itself, and then it makes a connection again. Like, that's what they say. That's what they're saying is happening to explain what's going on. But it's so much more than that. The thing is, we have, like, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it really simple. So, just to show you that the spirit body is what is controlling or fueling the physical body, let's say someone loses their sight, right? So I told you before that the spirit body has the same organs as the physical body. And so you would think that the eye is looking at something and interpreting it, but that's not really what's happening. The eye is actually what is being seen is by your spirit body. But it's using your physical body in order to interpret the data that's within the physical plane. So though the physical body, you can't see it, that is what's interpreting everything that you do while you're in physical form. It's just an apparatus. So let's say someone loses their sight, something happens, and they go in and have surgery, and they rewire and reconnect. Then the vision is had again. So basically what's happening, it's like the spirit body still has its ability to see, but it's not able to use the physical body's eye, I should say. So it's like, okay, I'm seeing everything, but the physical eyeball is disconnected. And so when you go to a doctor and you have surgery, it's almost like they reconnect it and the signal is reestablished again, so that the spirit body can then interpret what you're seeing in the physical world. That's what's happening. So it's not that the physical body is the one that's doing the seeing, it's actually your spirit body that is actually doing the seeing and the interpretation. But it's using the physical eyeball organ in order to decode the signal that we are seeing, because everything is light, but everything vibrates at a different frequency. So just like the physical eye cannot interpret frequency of the spirit world, unless you're really in tune, but that's something completely different. But we can. And so the spirit body needs the physical body in order to interpret data in the physical world, so it can have its experience. So what's happening, so yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So that paints a picture as to what's going on, what is really fueling the physical body, which is the spirit body. So the spirit body is what's doing the true interpretation. Go ahead. Sure. Absolutely. So, yeah. I think you guys got that. I think I made sense there. Alright, let's see. So the senses are not lost, basically. If you can't see with your eye, in the like here in the physical body, just because you can't see something or hear something, it's not that the spirit body can't detect those things. It's the physical body that cannot detect those things. But it's still being detected. It's still being observed. It's still being experienced by the spirit body. All right. Let me see. I think. All right. Let's see. What is next? Let me see. Okay, so, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, but the Okay, I already talked about that. So basically, since we are learning these things, the soul is learning. The soul is evolving, and it's using the physical body and the spirit body as tools for its education. And I think I said this a long time ago. Why we come here? You probably heard it before too, where we come here to learn. But what are we coming here to learn? That's the question. What are we coming here to learn? I am not going through that park because of that Dodger game. But we're coming here to learn love. That's it. That's what we're coming here to learn. We're coming here to learn love. But if you look at what's going on, how humanity has been steered in the direction it has been steered in, we're off track. We're just off track. We are off track. Jesus, why do you drive so slow? And they're in the Air Force? You would think they'd be flying. We come here to learn love, people. Love. Which is why you hear me say it all the time. Which is so foreign for me because I did not say this growing up. We did not use the word love growing up. And anytime I heard I love you from my mom, it was the most foreign thing that I've ever heard. Gosh, it was so foreign. It was like, why? It was almost like, why are you saying it? Because it wasn't a normal thing. And so, for whatever reason why she decided to say it, she said it. But because it wasn't normal to me to hear, it was just uncomfortable to hear. So, for me to say that now, to just say love, you are loved, and all these different things, and just the word love, I'm so much more comfortable with it now. But I know it from a different perspective. I don't know it from the perspective of growing up as a child and the mother saying, I love you. This is completely on a soul level. I am operating from the understanding of a soul and not from the understanding of a human being saying, I love you, but yet they do unloving things. Does that make sense? Hope so. Alright, so let's do that. Get rid of that one. And so I said that the soul needs a spirit body. And so I said the human brain controls the physical body, and it's used to express what's behind it. I think I said that already. Okay, so you hear me talk a lot about consciousness and how you maintain your consciousness. Don't try it. Don't try it. You maintain your consciousness when you die. You are who you are still when you die. And I know a lot of people have this understanding that when you die, you're connected to all knowledge and you're this, that, and yes, you are partly connected. But you are limited at the same time. And this is so hard to explain because we understand things in a linear fashion. We don't understand things in terms of time not existing. So we see one thing after the other, and it doesn't quite operate like that on the other side. Like, you're aware of more, but you're also aware of what you experienced while you were incarnated. So let's say someone has, as you get older, the mind starts to not work as well, or the brain doesn't allow the brain doesn't allow the expressions to come through as clearly because it's degrading. So the ideas, the thoughts that you have, that the soul has, cannot be expressed because it has to be filtered through the brain. It has to go through the process of the brain in order to be expressed. The vocabulary, all of these things, it comes through the brain. So when people have like things like Alzheimer's and things like that, where there's things going on in the brain, it simply means that it's not able to process what the soul wants to express because it's having some issues. It's degrading. But as soon as you die, all of that which you knew returns. You're no longer limited by the physical body. You're no longer limited by the physical body. So everything that you have learned, even the things that you think you have forgotten, return. Like we do that all the time. Like we're like, oh, I know that. I know that. I learned that in school or whatever. But you can't remember. But as soon as you pass, you remember all of that. This is why I say it's so important to learn as much as you can. Because the soul is holding every single thing that you experience. Every single thing you experience is being contained within the soul. So, all this stuff about spirit that people don't want to know about, all of these things about the soul that people don't want to know about because they think they know it through their religion or whatever, their Bible or whatever it is. This is how they limit themselves. But this is how they are able to be controlled. This is how a earthbound soul is created. Because when they don't know what's going on when they die, they are lost. When they enter the spirit world, they have no idea what to do because they don't have any information to draw from. They can't pull that information from anywhere within their consciousness because they never allowed it to be part of their consciousness. You get it? So what you learn isn't just for you in your life here. There is a continuation. There is no death. There is a... Ooh, that car got close. There is a continuation of your life after you leave the physical body. Like I just said a moment ago, you don't forget anything. Everything that you've learned is like, woo, it's there. It just comes in and you're aware of it. You're like, whoa. But if you don't have anything to gauge where you are and how it works on the other side of the veil, then you're lost. You are lost. And if you don't have love within your soul and you have more unloving things within your soul, that's going to determine where you even end up in the spirit world. So I know there's some evil people out there who hate and judge and condemn, and they claim to be these light workers, and they're like, yes, you know, I'm all about love, but the only way they can be loving is if they stay in the house by themselves and never interact with people. But as soon as they start interacting with people, they're like, you're a this and you're a that, and you got problems and something's wrong with you. Look, that's just a whole bunch of unloving things that are within the soul. And that is going to dictate where you end up when you do cross over. So those who have love in their heart, those who live from this loving place, whether you're claiming to be a starseed, a light worker, or whatever, it does not matter. It does not matter. The only thing that matters is what I said in the beginning, which is love or the lack of it. Those are the only two things that really matters to the soul. That's it. That is what we're trying to move toward. But if you keep using unloving things, those unloving things are going to keep you from moving toward that love. You get it? Does that make sense? It doesn't matter what religion you belong to. It doesn't matter if you call yourself a light worker. It doesn't matter if you're a pastor or a priest or a deacon. It doesn't matter what you claim yourself, an energy healer. It doesn't matter what it is. All of that is insignificant. All of that is insignificant when it comes to the loving and unloving things that are within your soul. All of it is insignificant. All of those things are expressions of either love or the lack of it. Call yourself a preacher and lead through love, or you can call yourself a preacher and lead through unloving things. Meaning you can purposely misguide, or you can purposely do things in your claim to be something and do something behind closed doors, which is what a lot of them do. It doesn't matter. Only thing that's important is love. And this is the only thing that I will ever talk about in terms of the soul. This is why I talk about the soul all the time. Because it's the most important aspect of who you are. All that other crap, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what planet you think you came from. It doesn't matter what dimension you think you came from to come here to help. You're not helping if you're doing unloving things. You're not helping at all, and you're certainly not helping yourself. So be aware of this, people. Be aware of it. All right, let me see what else I have. I already said that. Already said that. Just connected from the soul. I said that. Oh, okay. So a while back, I had mentioned that you have the different dimensions. You have, I call them spheres, but dimensions. You have 1 through 6. And 1 through 6 is basically you're living in natural love. You have not yet reached divine love within your soul. And I told you that anything over the 8th sphere or the 8th dimension is basically a celestial being. Anything under that, I said 6 and under, but I always skip 7. I never included 7 in anything because 7 is a transitional state. It's an area where there's a transition. Oh no, I didn't want to go this way. I really didn't want to go this way. So I will do this. Thank you. I gotta go to Baxter Street. Baxter, my favorite street, Baxter. So it's where you're close. So when Jesus, the reason why Jesus is called Christ or Jesus Christ is because he reached the 6th sphere, the 6th dimension, but he had not yet reached 7th. He was not a celestial being, and I know this throws the whole Bible idea of him being the Father. He's not the Father, but he did reach a state of the Christed state, I should say. He reached the Christed state, which is the 6th sphere. Once you reach, you transcend, or not transcend. What's the word I'm looking for? Maybe it is transcend. I don't know. Once you move from the 6th into the 7th, you turn into something else. You no longer need a spirit body or a physical body. That transition stage, that 7th sphere or 7th dimension, is a transitional area. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, excuse me, this is where you need a physical body and a spirit body. Anything within the 7th sphere, you lose those things. But this is where the soul becomes unionized. This is where the soul becomes whole again. In the 7th dimension. And I know, look, in this New Age things, and when we're talking about aliens and light beings and we're moving to the 5th dimension, and like, look. Look, I can't even say anything about that. Let people believe what they need to believe for themselves. And there's a whole bunch of things that people think. Look, I don't know. I have people, or I know people who are doing all kinds of things that are unloving to themselves and others, and they claim that they're in the 5th dimension, and they say, I'm in the 5th dimension. I'm like, they have no clue. They have no clue. But I mean, I don't challenge them on it. I just let them speak whatever they need to speak, and I will speak what I need to speak. And if they come across it, then they come across it. But I don't have any power over how they're perceiving anything. I can only present information. But I don't, like I said, I don't challenge them on it. Everyone has their free will to believe whatever it is that they want to believe, which is why I like doing these videos rather than talking to someone directly, because I don't really have time to be debating anything with anybody. I'm not here for debate. I'm just here to speak. You can either listen to it or not. You can accept it or not. It's your free will. So I do like doing the videos rather than speaking to people. But I like talking to people about other subjects. But when it comes to like debating and all that stuff, nah, they can keep all that. But yeah, the 7th sphere, or the 7th dimension, is a transitional area, and so that's when you lose the it's almost like you shed you no longer just need the spirit body and the physical body. Let me turn this air off. I need some power. I'm coming. All right. Crazy. Let me see. So, oh, that was quick. It went faster this way than it did. I think because I covered so much when I was bouncing around when I was talking about it. You ain't got to tell me twice, lady. I'm gone. All right, so the spirit body needs spirit development. All right. Oh, that's what I wanted to mention. So the physical body does not need any spiritual development for its own development. And I kind of mentioned this earlier, but I didn't mention it like this. So the physical body needs no spiritual development for its own development. Like I said earlier, the physical body will maintain itself. It's on autopilot. It has been designed that way on purpose. So there's nothing you really need to do other than eat and sleep. But it doesn't need spiritual development in order for it to survive and here in the physical world. People can go their entire lives without ever knowing about anything about their soul, or anything about God, or anything about angels or celestial beings, or anything like that in its relation to it. It does not need this at all. You can live off the earth and eat the fruits and the vegetables and whatever, and you never have to know about anything spiritual. The body will maintain itself. The heart will continue to pump. The kidney will continue to cleanse and do whatever it needs to do. Alright? However, the spirit body needs spiritual development. The spirit body needs spiritual development. So, someone can go to the gym and pump iron and get real big and buff, right? And they can even read books about it. Okay? And let's say someone picked up a book on how to bulk up and get really buff. Well, now they're gathering intellectual data, right? And so it's not a spiritual development. It's just intellectual data. That's all it is. It's just data. And so the guy's working out or the girl's working out and they're getting big, and they start to notice something. They start to notice that they're changing when they look in the mirror. And then they start feeling good. Start feeling proud of themselves. These are feelings. These are emotions that the soul is starting to experience. But the soul can gain experience through all kinds of things without you, in the physical form, purposely trying to do it. It's developing itself on a spiritual level without someone purposely trying to be spiritual. All the person did was look up. How do I become bigger? How do I pump iron so I can get more buff, more muscular? They do that, and then they look at themselves and they feel something because of that. That is spiritual development, because every single emotion that you feel is being directed or directly sent to the soul. It's being experienced by the soul. So you don't have to purposely become spiritual. You don't have to do that. But the spirit body needs it. But the physical body doesn't need the spiritual development. The spirit body needs it, and the soul needs it. Because when you die, it's going to need this experience. Meaning, when you die when you vacate the physical body and you cross over, it's going to need the experience. So you're always getting emotional or spiritual development all the time. When you do something that you enjoy, you're getting spiritual development. When you experience something that is hurtful, it's spiritual development. Because these are all emotional things, feelings and emotions that you're experiencing. But the body does not need it. Let me see. So yeah, when we do physical things, we partially develop the soul, and we partially develop the soul spiritually, I should say. Yeah. So that's it for this part. I'm going to get into humility. Absorption was another thing that I was going to get into, but I'll probably talk about that tomorrow. But I just want to get this basic stuff out of the way. The technical, physical aspect of the soul, the spirit body, and the physical body, and how they kind of interact and link up with one another. Because you're going to need to understand, when I was talking about the organs and things like that, you're going to need it for the other part. But at least you have the baseline. All right. So have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Hopefully it's not so choppy like it was today. All right. Take care now. You're loved. Bye.